When is a story not just fiction, not just a story for fun and entertainment? And how do you tell the difference? Hi, thank you for joining me today. It's great to see you. I'm JJ, otherwise known as the Practical Alchemist. That's because I like to look at practical ways that we can actually improve our lives and live our best life, living in line with nature in a way that's true to our nature. And talking about true to our nature, stories are part of our nature. We all tell stories all the time. Now, some of them are not true, some of them are true, but storytelling is just part of the fabric of our lives as human beings. And storytelling it's something that goes back ages. You know, the first humans would have been telling stories to communicate because at some points we did not have writing to transfer knowledge. So it was transferred through stories. And putting aside the media today, in the media, we always used to talk about stories, and I always used to hope that they were factual. That seems to have gone a bit by the by these days, but still, there are some facts that you find in the media, in the mainstream media these days. But stories are just a part of our life. It's a way of communicating information. So let's just leave it at that. Stories are a way of communicating information. And how we interpret stories, whether they are in the media as a news story, we need to just look at them critically. So, news stories, TV shows, films, or movies, as you might say. A lot of them are imparting information, and it's how we take that information on board and how we view it critically that's really important. So, the reason I'm talking about this today is that yesterday I watched a film called Jupiter Ascending, and it's from 2015. And there was an interesting quote in there, which was from Eddie Redmayne's character, who's a baddie prince person, space person. And he says, life is an act of consumption. To live is to consume. And he was trying to justify the processing of human beings to create some kind of eternal elixir that his species used to feed on. Now, I found that really interesting because, yes, we do consume. Life is an act of consumption because no matter what form of life you are, you consume in order to live. Now, the question is, what do you consume and how do you consume? And do you consume needlessly, for instance, in terms of, lots of shopping for clothes that you don't need or that sort of thing? But here we were talking about feeding on humans, using humans to feed another species. And I thought about that and I thought that's really interesting because for many years, we have heard stories of how, yeah, Earth is a bit of a farm. There are other species farming humans, feeding on our energy. And I just think that's fascinating because I can see how that could be. I'm not saying it's true or not true. I can, because I haven't actually physically experienced that. I've experienced many, many things which are out with the normal day to day, but not absolutely that. But I thought it was really, really interesting. And it also interesting because this film, Jupiter Ascending, is made by the Wachowskis. Now, they also made the Matrix films, and they also made Cloud Atlas. The Matrix, of course, everybody knows about. That's become part of our language. Cloud Atlas also had a theme of one species feeding on another. And you just have to wonder sometimes, are we being warned? Are we being told in the old way of telling stories of fairy tales disguising reality, disguising fact? Are we being told what's really going on here? Now, I'm not going to tell you yay or nay. All I'm doing is saying, when you consume media, when you consume all these stories, have a think about what they're telling you. Because sometimes it can be reality clothed in a fantasy. Or is it? Really, really fascinating when you start watching, especially science fiction films, fantasy films, anything like that. Watch them and see whether there's a lesson in there, whether they're trying to tell you something. Really interesting that this film was made by the Wachowskis, and looking at their other films, do they know something that we don't? Good question, isn't it? The problem is for me, I now don't watch any media without that critical thinking hat on. And I think it's a good way to be because, you know, when weird stuff happens, you just kind of go, oh, yeah, we were warned about that. I remember. And it's not such a shock. And I actually think that maybe sometimes these films, these TV programs, they're preparing us. Alien invasion films, are they preparing us? Are they telling us this could happen? Think about it. I'd love to hear what you think about that whole thing of being told the truth clouded or shrouded in fantasy. Let me know in the comments, and please let me know what you think generally of what I'm doing right now. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And please subscribe as well to the channel, because you know that really helps us out and it helps get this out to other people. So if I've made you think today, if you find it interesting, I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. And yeah, let's get something going here where we can exchange ideas. But for now, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Please like, subscribe, and share. See you next time.